Before I came to LTL, I knew almost zero Chinese. When I purchased the ticket to come here, I had about 2 weeks, and during that time I was learning pinyin and the pronunciation. But besides that, I knew nothing. So when I arrived, I was pretty much a complete beginner. I've been here now for about 2 months. I'd still consider myself a complete beginner. Obviously, I've learned a lot in those 2 months, but it's also very overwhelming in terms of the amount you need to learn to feel like you know something. I'm also just very critical of myself. So I probably know a lot more than I do. I'd say the most difficult thing about learning Chinese is, at least for someone coming from an English-speaking country, is the vocabulary. Because if you're learning something like Italian, there's a lot of shared vocabulary that you can use to help you learn. But with Chinese, 100% of the words are different. So it's just hard to learn vocabulary. So when I started at LTL, I did the group class, which was 4 hours per day, 5 days a week. I did that for approximately 4 weeks, at which point I switched to the one-on-one classes. For the group classes, I think it's great for maybe your first month or two when you're learning, because it gives you a lot of structure. You're following the book, you're following a very regimented program. However, I found that I wanted the more personal attention that you're going to get with one-on-one lessons. One, because the book covers a lot of things that aren't really relevant to my life or things that are interesting to me. And two, because I wanted to be able to move my own pace. With the group classes, there's the risk that there are going to be people at different levels in the class. So if you are the, for example, slowest person in the class, like I was, I started feeling overwhelmed. Being able to go to a one-on-one environment allowed me to learn more at my own pace and to focus on what I wanted to focus on. It was actually really easy to go from the group class to the one-on-one. LTL was very supportive of my needs and quickly found another teacher that I could start with. And it was a seamless transition, so that was much appreciated. My biggest concern was the size of the group class, because of course they sell it online like, oh, it's only 6 people or less. And I thought maybe that was just some marketing materials. However, when I arrived, it was actually only just one other person in my class. For 1 week, it was just me. And then for the next 3 weeks, it was only one other person. So that was great. All my concerns were erased immediately. Originally, when I was looking at classes, I was also looking in other parts of Taiwan, in addition to Taipei, because I knew that there would be less English and it was a more immersive environment. While that is true, there are a lot of people here in Taipei that speak English. Immediately on my first day here, I realized I made the right decision, because Taipei is an awesome city. There's so much to do. People are really great, lots of great food. There's a really good social dynamic at the school that you're not going to get at other LTL locations. On the flip side, like I said, there is a lot of English being spoken, so it is not as immersive. But for me, it's a good balance, especially as a beginner, knowing nothing. I would probably struggle a lot if no English was spoken anywhere. I would probably say the lunches that we do every day. Every day, a big group of us go out to lunch. We go to a different restaurant. It allows us to explore different parts of the city, different types of food. And it's just a very social, family-like atmosphere. It doesn't really feel like you're at school. It feels like you're just going to lunch with your friends. So I would definitely recommend LTL for learning Mandarin. However, I would highly recommend that you know what your expectations are going in. When I say that, I mean, number one, you're not going to get fluent in Mandarin in 3 months. It's not going to happen if you're starting from a beginner, but also know what you want in terms of whether or not to take group classes or take one-on-one classes. You know, when you take group classes, it is more of a formal structure, whereas with one-on-one, it does give you a lot more flexibility. So I think it's really important to know, depending on what your goals are. For example, if your goals are more conversation, then maybe the one-on-one will be better, because you'll have a lot more opportunity to speak. However, if learning characters and having more of a school-like approach is what you're looking for, the group classes are probably the way to go.